Okay, welcome everybody. So this is just going to be a quick video to sort of go over my Falcom collection. This is the product of roughly over 10 years, probably, closing in on like 12 years or so of collecting Falcom stuff. And still a lot of things that I'm missing that I'd like to have eventually one day, but there's some pretty cool stuff in here that I think some people may not have seen, so I kind of want to highlight that. I might skip over some of the more modern stuff because I don't find that as interesting. I'm much more interested in like older Falcom things. But yeah, we'll just kind of start from the top here. You may have seen it. I have a video on the Dragon Slayer board game from when I first picked it up. That's a really cool piece in my collection. Just below that here is Noya with a whole bunch of pin box ducks. She just came with the with Falcom's release of Nayuta no Kiseki Kai in Japan for the PS4. So I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. So I just stuck her up there. And then these are some recent acquisitions. This is the Barcode Battler 2 with some Dragon Slayer cards and a little Lord Monarch user card pack, which these are pretty interesting. I'm hoping to do a video on this at some point. So yeah, maybe look forward to that in the future. These are actually the only non-Falcom things that I have up here is the Super Mario World and Legend of Zelda Link to the Past Barcode Battler packs, which are also kind of interesting, but anyway, not Falcom related. This is all my pin box pins and boxes. I got really into buying these. I really appreciate Pinbox. I've kind of, the owner and I've chatted a little bit back and forth about things. I've helped him out with a few things here and there, and he's been super nice with, providing me with a little bit of extra service whenever I had an issue. So very cool guy, very cool site. Hopefully if you're a Falcom fan, you know about Pinbox. They've got some really cool merchandise like t-shirts and stuff like that. I got my little Ellie and Tio figures up here, just kind of hanging out. There's a few little extra knickknacks here. Got a Michelin Wonderland pin, and Ys 8 pin that came with the, I think that came with my Ys 8 set a long time ago. I can't remember at this point. Everything's a blur. Everything's a blur when you get over age 30. No, I'm just kidding. It's not like that. Only if you're like me, but yeah. Anyway. So I got Rappy over here. Rappy or Lappy, or whichever you prefer. I go with Lappy because it makes more sense. But yeah, he's a little like cell phone carrying case. But he's kind of cute. He's soft. But yeah, he's up here just kind of hanging out and making sure everything stays in good condition. These are some old empty pin boxes that I emptied out. I'm gonna move these out of the way actually while I talk about this other stuff. So this is my TurboGrafx and PC Engine collection, and my understanding, with the exception of maybe like a couple of like maybe demo discs, well not demo discs, but like I think there's like some music sampler CDs. This is everything Falcom related on the PC Engine and TurboGrafx that I'm aware of. As far as English releases, we actually have The Legend of Heroes, Dragon Slayer 1. We've got Ys Books 1 and 2, which is my favorite. This is what got me into Falcom, was the TurboGrafx 16 version of Ys Books 1 and 2, because this is an incredible game for when it came out, released in 1990 in the West and 1989 in Japan, and it's absolutely incredible for the time period. If I had known that there was a game like this out when I was playing, I don't know, Mario Brothers 3 on the NES, I would have flipped my lid. So, amazing game. Absolutely amazing. Still love it. Still one of my favorites. Less amazing game, but still fun, is Ys 3 Wanderers from Ys. And then we have the Japanese versions of Ys 1 and 2, Ys 3, and yes, I do own a PC Engine / I actually own a PC Engine Duo R, So I get my CD and my chip card, Hue card gaming in. So then I've got Ys 4, and then the Japanese version of Legend of Heroes, Dragon Slayer 1, Dragon Slayer 2, or Dragon Slayer The Legend of Heroes 2, excuse me, and then The Legend of Xanadu, and The Legend of Xanadu 2, and Brandish, which is, this one is a super unique and interesting version of Brandish for me because it has voiced cutscenes. So, I mean, if you've never heard Eris, or, well, you won't hear Eris, but, because he's mute. But if you've never heard Della, or Dora, as she's called in Japanese, if you've never heard her speaking, this is really interesting. It's also one of those PC Engine games that uses the arcade CD-ROM peripheral to, I think it expands the RAM, but it helps with certain cutscenes and things like that. It makes it a little bit more, I think it offers a little bit more memory so that it can do some nicer things with the cutscene. Popful Mail is also another one that does that, and I'll pull that out right now since I'm talking about it anyway. You can see the arcade CD-ROM symbol there on the cover. But yeah, Popful Mail is also a great game for the PC Engine CD. It's one of my favorites. And then Sorcerian, which again has, like with most PC Engine CD-ROM games, it has voiced cutscenes, which is what makes it kind of interesting. This is just a demo disc that has Tengai Makyo 2 Manjimaru, but also a demo for The Legend of Heroes The Legend of Heroes 1. And then I have a demo disc that I recently got. This was not that long ago, actually, for The Legend of Xanadu. And I haven't really messed with this too much, but kind of interesting. So that pretty much covers the PC Engine TurboGrafx stuff, which is some of my favorite stuff. Here's a little Estelle. You know, at some point I should pull her out. I used to have her set up kind of, you know, in a pose on my shelf a long time ago, but since then I just figured I'll just keep her in the box. And really happy that I have that. And then multiple drama CDs. This is really only useful to you if you know Japanese, and most of these are not that interesting, I'll be honest with you. The drama CDs for like Sky, Trails in the Sky, FC, SC, they don't offer that much more information than what is in the games already. And especially since the Evolution versions of the games came out with voice acting, there's almost no reason to go back to these, but there are a few that are really unique and interesting, or there are some like minor touches. For example, I think, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of flipping around here a lot between things, but like at the end of FC, for example, and spoilers for FC if you haven't played through it, but in the ending scene, there's a moment in the drama CD that is not there in the game where like Cassius talks to Leeway, and it's weird. So that threw me off a little bit. But for the most part, you're getting basically exactly the same stuff that was in the game. But there are a few things like this. So the Ring of Judgment, which if you're familiar with it, they did it was a comic adaptation, and this is a drama CD adaptation of that story, which is really interesting. At some point, I'd like to sit down and kind of go through that with the manga in hand. I also do have the manga, and just kind of like compare and contrast and see what's there. This is another one, Advanced Chapter. You may have seen this online somewhere. I think somebody attempted to subtitle it, but so Advanced Chapter. There's a couple of little things like that that have some unique information that you won't get anywhere else. While we're on the topic of drama CDs and other things, we might as well go down here and look at some of this stuff. So over here we have Dragon Slayer The Legend of Heroes dubbed on VHS, because this is a thing that came out, and it's kind of amazing that it came out. It was released in '92 by Amuse Video, and I Obviously didn't set the world on fire because it's not very good. It's very strange. You can probably find it on YouTube these days, so just look around if you're curious and want to check it out. The other thing I have here is my Ys DVD set. So an interesting thing to note is that I do also have these on Laserdisc. I have done a video on that. I probably won't be showing off my Laserdisc collection today, but I do have those in there, so I do have a little bit more Falcom stuff than just what you see here. I have this. You might laugh, but I would say in some ways it can be even more enjoyable than the game. I had a lot of fun watching this with some friends in the Geofront. It was a good time. Then I have the Japanese Blu-ray releases of the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky OVA, also the Sentai Filmworks US release. The Japanese Blu-ray releases are interesting, not only for, like the little extra booklets that come with them, but because they have audio commentary tracks with Kondo. So that's really interesting to sit and listen to, and he's got some unique he sits around with the directors and they talk about some unique things that you might be surprised to find out, like things like I'm trying to remember what one of them was, but like Zin, for example. I think the actor was really excited at having the opportunity to reprise his role, and then he never got the call because he doesn't actually speak in the anime. And they talk about things like that. That's a JDK Band concert on Blu-ray. This is interesting. So this is the Xanadu OVA that came out way back in the day. You can probably also find this on YouTube. Be warned, it does contain some nudity, and also it's just not very good. But it is unique. This is a video CD. So not actually a DVD, but a video CD, which means that the quality of this is actually probably a little bit worse than VHS, to be honest with you. But it is the only way that I own this right now, and I think it was only ever available on video CD and VHS. I think that's my understanding. Here we've got the Ys Special Collection, all about Falcom. This came with, I'm trying to remember which, I want to say this came with like Ys 6, a certain version of Ys 6, and I just happen to have one that's unbundled. I have a different copy of this that I think came with my copy of Ys 6, so I'm not going to bother pulling that out, but I've got a lot of stuff in here that you'll find is kind of like, I ended up buying it loose. This is unique. Diva Kaneko. So this is back in like the late and early 2000s. Diva Kaneko was doing a lot of the vocal work for Falcom, and this is like how to sing Falcom songs, and it comes with a DVD where like they go to karaoke and she walks you through like her method, and it's kind of funny. I don't know, I love little stuff like that, so that was a fun watch. This is, I think this just came with, what did this come with? I don't even remember what I got this with. Something I ordered from Japan, something I ordered from Falcom, and I don't know if they just threw it in, or it feels like it came with like, oh, I bet it came with Memories of Celceta for PS4 when I got that. These 9 Monstrum Nox, Code Red, that came with the limited edition. There's the Hajimari no Kiseki original soundtrack mini that came with that when that came out. Nayuta no Kiseki Kai soundtrack that came with that when it came out. And then we get into some of the more interesting stuff. So I guess I'll pull this down first. So this is Falcom Radio. Mendokusai desu. Demo ganbarimasu. So Tio, or the voice actress that plays Tio, whose name eludes me at the moment, she did a long-standing radio series where she would interview some of the other voice actors from the Trails franchise, and they would talk about different things and just kind of goof around, and they do some little segments where she would say stuff in character. The other actors would come on and say stuff in character, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty cute. I've actually listened to a lot of it through one of the CDs, and I'm about to show you. But what's unique about this is it's a play button, and I'm gonna have to take a moment to pause and put this back correctly when I get a second. But yeah, so you can see it's just a button. That's what it is. It's just a button with a headphone jack, and there's some kind of memory in here. It doesn't work, unfortunately. I tried to get it working and was not able to yet, so I gotta do some more stuff with this. But yeah, it's got a few episodes of the radio show on here in this little play button format, and I thought it was really unique. I just wish it worked. Anyway, let me pause 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, so we've looked at that now. So now we can kind of look at some of the other things. Speaking of Falcom Radio, so this is one of the two, I want to say two, but no, there's actually 3 discs, and I don't have the other 2, but I have this one, which is a compilation of the Falcom Radio show that they did, that I was just describing. This is a weird one. This was like a pre-order bonus for Aono Kiseki, and it's the special support section versus Van Joe. And it's just like a short 12-minute segment, but boy, it's goofy and weird, and I don't know. One of those things. Over here, I have more drama CDs. So most of these are for older Falcom titles. So these 3 here are for White Witch. If you're familiar with the Gagar trilogy, so these are all for White Witch. This one is my favorite just because of the cover art, which you may, I'm not sure if you can tell just by looking at it, but the artist here is the same person who did the character designs for Cowboy Bebop. So nifty thing there. There's one of, I think there's a total of 4 drama CDs for Tear of Vermilion. I only have the 1 right now. Those can be found on YouTube if if you know where to poke around, you can find them to listen to. It's very interesting. Then I have Potful Mail Paradise, and I'm not gonna pull all these out, but especially because the covers on some of them are a little risque. But Potful Mail Paradise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the Next Generation. I'm missing one of these that would go right here, but I really like Potful Mail. And then Tarako Para Paradise, excuse me. And this is an interesting one where a bunch of old Falcom characters get together. You've got Sirius from The Legend of Heroes, and then you've got like Chris from Legend of Heroes 3 and Potful Mail, and yeah, so and Jurio, you get like a whole bunch of Falcom characters together in a big, just fun drama CD crossover special. So that's really cool. That's something that, like, it's at some point I might want to do, like a subtitled version for it or something, if I could find the time. We'll move over here. I'll do a quick run of this stuff. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because a lot of these are English releases, so more people are going to be familiar with them. But my NES copies of Legacy of the Wizard, Tombs and Treasure, Xanadu, the Master System version of Ys the Vanished Omens, the classic bad box art at-all, Ys 3 for the Sega Genesis, Ys 3 for the Super Nintendo, almost said Super Famicom, Potful Mail on the Sega CD, and oh my goodness, I spent way too much money on that, and I'm never going to spend that much money on any one game ever again. Ys 6, the Ark of Napishtim, and then we've got the Bandai released Gagarv trilogy here, Guramin, the Atlas released Legacy of Ys Books 1 and 2 for the DS, Trails in the Sky, Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles, Oath and Felghana, Ys 7 for PSP, Ys Memories of Celceta, Trails of Gold Steel 2, the PS3 and Vita version. If you're wondering, The normal, where they would normally go would be in these boxes for Trails of Cold Steel 1 for PS Vita and PS3, but yeah, I didn't want to put them together, so I just put these down here with some of my books and things. But then we have the PS4 versions of Cold Steel 1 and 2, Ys Origin on the Vita back there. I have another version of... These are not in any particular order, by the way. I just kind of threw things together where I felt like I wanted them, or they'd fit. So I still have to do some organizing. These are pretty cool. Legend of Heroes 1 and 2 on the Mega Drive. So some more import stuff over here. We got White Witch for the PS1, Tear of Vermilion for the PS1, and Lord Monarch, Shingai Okuki. Yeah, for the PS1, which I have not played around with that much. Then I've got Ys 3 and Ys 4 from Taito on the PS2. I've got a weird Legend of Heroes collection from Korea that is, I don't know, it feels like a bootleg, but I don't think it actually is a bootleg. But yeah, it's really weird because it's got like screenshots from the PSP version down here. I don't know what's going on with this one. I have messed around with it and got it working in like a Windows 95 virtual machine, but yeah, it's just weird. This was another recent acquisition, so Dragon Slayer 1 on the Game Boy. Kind of interesting. So this is actually complete. It's got the instructions and everything with it, but pretty cool if you're interested in the original Dragon Slayer. Not a good port of the game, so I will say that. That's not going to be the version you'll probably want to play. You'll probably want to play like the PC 88 original or something like that before you play that one. We'll move down here and look at some other stuff. I've got, let's see, so we've got Ys 1, 2, and 3 Eternal Story. This is obviously a bootleg. This was never released for the NES, but neat little thing I picked up. I can't remember where I picked it up. I've got Ys 1 for the Famicom down here. That's really hard to see from that angle. Sorry. So yeah, there's Ys 1. Got Ys 5 for the Super Famicom right next to it. I really need to organize this collection better, but just kind of, it's hard to find room for everything. So I won't go into too much detail with the rest of these, but this is a full set of all three Sora no Kiseki games for the PSP. Nayuta no Kiseki, Ys vs. Trails in the Sky Alternative Saga. If you haven't already, please play our patch. I translated it, so it's out there. It's great. Then we have Zero no Kiseki for the PSP, Ao no Kiseki, Ys Memories of Salsetta. Then we've got Zero no Kiseki Evolution, Zero no Kiseki for the PC. Don't ask me why I have them ordered this way. I don't even know myself. And then the PlayStation Vita Japanese versions of, Sen no Kiseki 1 and 2, or Trails of Cold Steel, as you might know it. And then Ao no Kiseki Evolution. Two different versions of Ao no Kiseki Evolution, which I had to get because they come with different drama CDs, for one thing, and different figures so that you can complete a beach scene with Lloyd, Tio, Randy, Ellie, and Kia. So I had to get both. Yeah, a little bit overkill, but yeah, I probably wasted some money on some things that I didn't need, but whatever, it's fine. So now we've got the evolution versions of Trails in the Sky FC, SC, and the third. You may have seen I did an unboxing video on the third evolution at one point. I have kind of unboxed a lot of things and took some video footage, and I was like, I don't want to put that up, and I'm too lazy, and so I ended up never actually doing it. But so you might see some more of that at some point if I ever get around to releasing it. We'll see. Let's see if we can just get this video up to start with. How about that? We'll try that first. Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, the Japanese version. Very, very good game. Ys 8 for PS4. This is the only PS4 copy I have of this, and in Japanese anyway. And the reason I got this is because it's a Christmas package, special Christmas package, and it came with a Christmas Donna themed theme for your PS4, and it still has the original PS4 package inside this little box slipcover thing. So that was kind of cool. Got a neat little disc here, Falcom UMD Demo Collection 2006. Now this is something I wish I could talk about in more detail, but there's not really a good way to play UMD video discs on your computer right now. So the best I could do is actually play it on my physical PSP and try to record the screen. That's not great. But the cool thing about this is, like, you've got a demo for Xanadu Next on here, which of course never came to PSP, but it's on this demo collection. I think that's kind of interesting. We've got Vantage Master Portable, which is a pretty neat little tactical RPG. One of the things that you may not know about this is that it actually has Trails in the Sky characters in it, and they have their own scenarios in it. They're not greatly fleshed out or anything, but it is interesting. You can play as Leeway in this. That's pretty neat. Let's see, we've got, of course, The Legend of Heroes 3, White Witch for PSP, the Bandai version. I have not actually played any of these PSP versions of the Gagarov trilogy because they are bad. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana for the PS Vita, the Japanese version. Nayuta no Kiseki Kai for PS4. Ys II Eternal Jukai for Jukai Kai. Jukai Kai. Okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. For PS4. Let's see. So they got Trails in the Sky FC, SC, and the third Kai for PS3. And these are kind of unique versions. The interesting thing about these is that they are actually running on PSP emulation on the PS3, but they're in HD, but they're still running via a PSP emulator. It's weird. I don't know. I need Ribos or somebody who can explain it in more detail to talk about it. But then we have Zero no Kiseki Kai, Ao no Kiseki Kai, Sen no Kiseki Kai, Sen no Kiseki 2 Kai, Sen no Kiseki 3, which I still haven't finished because I'm behind, as stated previously. Sen no Kiseki 4, again, I am behind. Down here we've got some of my English stuff. Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus for the PS4, big huge chonky box edition that I paid way too much money for back when it came out, because I could have waited a while and it would have been down to like $40 or whatever, but you know, it's fine. Ys Origin. So that is that's the limited run version of Ys Origin for PS4. Got that. Ys 8, Ys 9, and then over here, Cold Steel 3, Cold Steel 4, and up here we've got Hajimari no Kiseki, which again I am behind and have not played. So I don't know. I just haven't been as into the more recent Trails games, and it's not to say they're bad games. It's just that I haven't really gotten sucked in, and it's also just hard to find the time to play long form RPGs these days, especially as I get older. We'll look down here and look at some of this stuff. And before you complain, so I do have these art books, and yes, they are the English released versions by Udon. This is because they were Christmas gifts from family members who love me and were sweet and kind enough to think about to think about wanting to get me something that I was interested in, and I'm very appreciative of it. So I'm not even worried about the fact that, like, yes, the terms in there are not the correct localized terms. I'm just appreciative of having the art and my family members being kind enough to pick them up for me. I got some like clear files and stuff down here. I forget how I got some of these, like for Zwei of all things. I forget why I have these. Oh yeah, I forgot I got a demo disc for Zwei. I need to pull that out, and I'm gonna have to remind myself to pull that out and like. Okay, yeah, yep. Okay, we're gonna do that right now. I'm gonna put that aside for later. Do something with that. Yeah, Zwei clear file. Yay, yay, woo, woo. Everybody loves Zwei. Woo. Sorry. I am a self-confessed weirdo, so you'll forgive me for acting weird. Got this other art book, which I really like. This one's really cool because it has a lot of different artwork from stuff like Brandish and Xanadu and way back stuff, and I'm all about the way back stuff. I got a bunch of stuff kind of shoved in here in between everything else, so let's pull that out and take a look at some of it. Got the Star Trader Koryaku Handbook. So this is just kind of like a semi walkthrough, not super helpful little strategy guide thing. But it's kind of neat, and I'm a fan of Star Trader, so it's one of those things that I'm happy I have. Got a little German postcard. I think this was just one of those things that they included in one of my boxes from Falcom. Got a little pouch for Hajimari. That I think this was also. Oh look, she got a mask. She's being safe. Good for her. Yeah, I think this was also just included with one of my packages that was direct from Falcom. I think that was the one that actually had Zero and Ao no Kiseki Kai in it. And then some more flyers, some issues of Falcom magazine that they sent. And this was back when I was from any of the times where I've actually ordered direct from Falcom. Nowadays it's a little harder to do that. Once COVID hit, you know, they had a lot of shipping issues. I had ordered Zero and Al Kai from them, and it ended up being like 8 months before I got it, because they ended up saying, okay, we're not going to be able to get these to you right away. Do you want us to cancel your order? And I was like, nah, it's fine. And they and eventually they reached out to me at one point and were like, well, we're going to give you some options because we don't think we're going to be able to ship it to you the normal way. Do you want us to ship it to you by boat? And I said, okay. So they shipped it to me by boat, and it took like an extra 3 months to get to me. But I did finally get my Zero and Aokai from them with the extra goodie, which was cool because I had wanted the little extra bonus thing that was exclusive to Falcom's store. So that's why I was willing to wait on it, and I'd already played the game, so it didn't really matter that much to me. This is my favorite book, the Falcom Chronicle. Lots of really, really useful information in here if you're interested about Falcom's history in general. It does miss some things and skips over some things, notably stuff like Private Stripper, games like that Falcom, would probably rather not bring back up because, but every Japanese developer these days has something like that in their catalog, something like Private Stripper. Even Squaresoft and Enix have their share of shameful games from back in the early PC 88, 98 era that they would rather people not discuss. But that was the era, and they don't do that anymore. And Falcom notably only had that one game, which in comparison to some of the stuff that was out there is probably more innocent than most. Then we've got the White Witch Sette Shiryoshu, which this is just like design materials for the Saturn version of White Witch, which, while it's not a good game and it's not the version of White Witch that I'd suggest anybody play, it is very unique. It has a very unique and interesting design. The character designs are very different, but there's a lot of heart and spirit in especially in the animations, and This has some unique interviews in it, and it talks about why they decided to go in a different direction from the previous versions of the game. And I don't know, I think it's very unique, and I'm quite happy that I got that book. Okay, so I actually got cut off partway through when I was looking at this section because my phone battery ran out, so I had to charge it a little bit, and now I'm back. So I'm going to pick up from where we left off. So we had just discussed this, and so then we have the Dragon Slayer Legend of Heroes 2 guidebook. Is this for the 98 version? No, this is for the PC Engine version. That's for the PC Engine version of the game. I have a Tier Vermilion guidebook for the PS1 version of that game. It's in that little plastic baggie there for no apparent reason, because it's already kind of beat up, and it's not like I'm going to keep it in perfect condition. I'm going to try not to damage it, obviously, but it's not, it was already kind of busted up. And then I've got lots of manga and stuff over here. So we've got the Ys IV Mask of the Sun manga. We've got the very weird Ys manga. I can't actually even show you some of these covers. I don't know, I'm pulling off to that side. Let's see if this is one that's acceptable to show, because like some of these covers are, yeah, that's Adol. Hi Adol, you're looking weird, my dude. Anyway, yeah, this manga is really bizarre. I haven't read through all of it, mostly because it is so bizarre, and it's just its own weird storyline. Maybe someday I'll do a video on it. It's certainly unique, we'll say that, but I have several volumes of that. Then I've got this Ys V manga, which is pretty cool. And then these are really neat. So these are Anthology Comics that are officially licensed for White Witch and for Tier of Vermilion. And they're just little funny one-shots and things like that. Funny or sweet, it depends on what they were going for. But, they went to various different authors. Often sometimes it's like fan comic authors and things like that. And gave them the opportunity to, to contribute to this compilation. I think it's really fun. Then we've got the Ring of Judgment manga, which many of you are probably familiar with. And then we have the Trails in the Sky manga, which has been ongoing in Falcom magazine, which I showed you just a minute ago. So you've got Trails in the Sky SC, and then it shifted over to this Kizuna no Arika like sub-series. So you start off with this version of SC, and then you jump to this, but it's a continuation. It starts over at volume 1, and I don't know why they did it that way, but that's how it works for whatever reason. Got a couple of interesting books for Sky. This is a snapshot of the Liberal Kingdom. It's pretty Dorothy and Nile heavy. So if you like them, I think you'll enjoy these. These are kind of interesting little offshoots. There's the Four Fates novel for Zero no Kiseki, and that is all I have as far as books go. So now we'll jump into some of the more interesting things. So we looked at these discs and everything a minute ago, but down below that we have the PC games. And you might have already noticed a couple of things in here that are pretty unique, but we'll start over on the left with the PC 88 and PC 98 versions of the original Dragon Slayer The Legend of Heroes. Dragon Slayer The Legend of Heroes 2 for the PC 98. I only have the 98 version of that one. And then we have The Legend of Heroes 3, White Witch, for the PC 98. And this is the original release. This is not the renewal version. Something that's interesting about this, and that maybe I'd hope to talk about at some point later on, is that the original version of the game is not as well balanced as the renewal version of the game. It takes longer to level up. They made some adjustments to make the game just slightly more fun to play. in the renewal version for PC 98. And then, of course, there's the Windows version, which we'll talk about later, but the Windows version is a totally different bag than the PC 98 version. I love this game. Really, really excellent game. Really, really excellent story. Lovable characters. It's fantastic. I'm not so much in love with this game at the moment. I'm currently playing through the PC 98 version of Tears of Vermilion, and while I love this box and the artwork here, it's really cool. This is the CD-ROM version, so this is not the original release of that one. The PC 98 version is not the version of the game I would recommend to anyone who kind of wants to enjoy playing through Tears of Vermilion. Maybe I'll go into it in more detail in another video or something, but it's got some problems and things that I don't like about it. It's got some good stuff. Don't get me wrong. There's some cool stuff in there. But I would probably recommend someone to play the Windows version, because from everything that I hear, because I haven't played it myself, the Windows version is much better. And I have not played the PSP version. So I'm still kind of in the dark, actually, about Tear of Vermilion and Cage Song of the Ocean, because I have only ever played White Witch, and I played this many years ago. And then I replayed it again not that long ago, and I'm now finally jumping into Tear of Vermilion. So hopefully I make it through Tear of Vermilion to get to Cage Song, but we'll see. This is an interesting one. So this is actually an English language release of Sorcerian, which, you know, some people were probably not aware was actually released outside of Japan, but it was by Sierra, of all companies, who you might be familiar with for their adventure games such as like Space Quest or Police Quest or King's Quest or Leisure Suit Larry or things like that. Roberta Williams, who used to write the King's Quest games, you know, like she and her husband founded Sierra way back in the day, and but anyway, they licensed Sorcerian and released it in English. So this is a really unique one. I'm really glad I picked this one up. Over here, we kind of have the crown jewels of my collection at the moment, which is the PC 6001 Super Monitor. So this is nothing special in terms of what the actual content of the game itself. I mean, it's not a game. It is just a monitor program that Falcom released, and you can see Nihon Falcom down here, that they released back when they were still in the transition to becoming a game company. And this is when they would kind of like license titles from their fans and say, hey, you got an idea you want for a game, or you got a game you want to sell us, and cool, we'll pick it up and we'll pay you some licensing fees. We'll pay some royalties, I should say. So this is one of those very early, I want to say this is like 83, maybe, yeah, I want to say 83, that this came out, and I was just lucky enough to find a copy of this up for auction, and I snagged it, and I was actually able to get it working on an emulator. This is a cassette. It's a cassette tape, and I was able to get it working on an emulator, and amazingly, it should. At some point, I plan to make it available. Technically, I consider stuff like this abandonware at this point, so Falcom's never going to re-release this. This is something that is a unique piece of history. So my plan is to eventually release it with a little bit of documentation once I can get some scans made up and put it out there so other people can mess around with it. Because from what I know, this is one of those things that has never been dumped. So a very unique, very interesting piece of Falcom's history, and I'm so glad that I picked it up. Similarly, we have another game that was released, I want to say, in 84. And hang on, let me see if I can slide this back in here. And that is Escape from Twilight Zone. Obviously, the inspiration is clear, right? It's it's no big secret that this is very clearly inspired by Rod Serling's 60s TV show, The Twilight Zone. Very cool little game. I also could never find a dump of that online, even though it's also basically abandonware at this point. But I have ripped a copy of it, and that is another one that I would, I hope to eventually get out there to people. I'm not sure, when I'll get around to that, but that's my hope. Very, very cool. I have actually played through the entire thing. It's a neat little text adventure game. There's not too much to say about it beyond that, other than it's a neat piece of Falcom history that I hope to share with everyone at some point. I also have some of these like demo disc collections. I've got this. I'll just pull all this out of here because there's so much stuff in here. Come on. So actually, in the interim, I moved that Zwei disc up in here because this is just like a bunch of demo discs and things. There's some weird stuff. These came packaged with other products. Treasures of Gagarv, Volume 1. I forget exactly. I think this might have come with a version of White Witch for Windows. This came with Cage Song of the Ocean. It says Gagarv Visual Trilogy, the movie, but it's really just like the opening and ending videos for these games. And then we've got some unique demo discs. These are pretty cool. They got some neat stuff on them. This is why one I actually just checked out a minute ago, and it's just got a video on it, but the video is kind of cool. The Cage Song one is really neat. These are like things that would have been shown in store kiosks, to kind of promote the games. I actually have 2 of these Tear of Vermilion demo discs, one of which I'm planning to give to a friend because I accidentally picked up 2 and I only meant to get 1. And anyway, so I'm gonna give that to a friend who's also a big Falcom fan, mainly a big Gagar fan. Got a Monakun Cho Takara CD-ROM for Windows 98 and 95. This is just a bunch of stuff for Lord Monarch. Well, actually, Monarch, the Mona spin-off for the Lord Monarch series, the Vantage Master Japan demo. Nothing too exciting, but I mean, it's really interesting if you're interested in Falcom history and all the stuff that they put out there over the years. Just looking for stuff that's unique. That's mainly my thing. Is I'm always trying to find something that maybe I've never seen this before, or there's no way to get it other than for me to just buy it myself. So that's why I pick up stuff like this. I find it really interesting. Forgive me, I'm getting out of breath because I'm talking a lot, and I don't usually talk this much. So down here we have some more of my PC 98 games and Windows games. So we've got over here Xanadu for the MSX. And this is interesting because for this one they opted to use the artwork for the Xanadu manga, and the manga was what inspired that OVA that I talked about earlier. And this box down here, I actually probably should have pulled it out to show it, but it actually has a poster that I haven't put up yet, and I was going to frame it and put it up somewhere, but it's for the Xanadu OVA from the 80s. So I picked that up at some point not that long ago. I've got Brandish 1, 2, and 3 for the PC 98 here. I believe these are all the original versions of these games. They were repackaged later on. There's been renewal versions. There's also like a big box set that actually has all 4 Brandish games, Brandish 1, 2, 3, and VT in it. But I believe these are the original versions. All of them on 5.2. Big old floppy disks. So yeah, I didn't actually pay much attention when I was picking these up, because part of the reason is I eventually planned to get a PC 98, but I was never sure if I was going to get a one with a 3.5 drive or a 5-inch drive. So I just ended up getting various different sizes, and we'll see if I can work with that later on. Maybe I can add a drive or something to whatever PC 98 I get. But I started picking up the games mainly because I found them cheap, and also because I'm in love with all the stuff that they put in them and the artwork on the boxes, and they're just super cool. But I have played at least Brandish 1 and 2. I still need to play 3 and VT. I played a little tiny bit of 3 and VT, just messing around with them. Dinosaur for PC 98. You may have heard the GF-Front's releasing the Windows re-release of Dinosaur Resurrection. No release date yet, but I know Fishbone, she and her team are working really hard on getting that together, and that's really exciting. That's a really exciting one, especially for anybody who likes first-person dungeon crawlers. So be excited for that one. That's gonna be cool. Lord Monarch for PC 98, an interesting one. Haven't played much of that myself. Star Trader is one I have played a fairly large amount of, and this one is a personal favorite of mine because I love the concept. I love the concept of a shmup with adventure / RPG elements. It's really neat. Really like Star Trader. This has a lot of cool stuff in the package with it, but Star Trader is one of my favorite old Falcom games. I would like to see a resurrection of Star Trader. Falcom, if you watch this and you hear this, please make a new Star Trader. Make it super cool and update it for modern audiences. I think it could be a really cool thing. Anyway, Ys Origin that's the Vista version. Yeah, so that was a cool thing I picked up, I think, at Anime Expo. Down here, we've got the last little bit of everything that I'm going to show you today. E6 Arc of Napishtim for PC, Oath and Felghana. Now this is really cool because it comes with a box set of various different versions of Felghana's music across, PC Engine and PC-88, etc. Like many of it, different arrangement CDs. Like it has multiple different releases of that music in here for you to enjoy, so that's pretty cool. Ys Material Collection. Now there's a bunch of these material collections, but I only have this one at the moment. And it's just got like a bunch of like wallpapers and desktop icons and stuff for old Windows 95 and 98 computers. Really Windows 95, honestly. Like I don't even know that Windows 98 could have handled this, but it might have even been Windows 3.1, I can't remember. But some neat stuff in there. That's pretty cool. And then we got my Windows versions of the Gagar trilogy. We've got White Witch, Tear of Vermilion, Cage Song of the Ocean, and last but not least is Zwei over here. And that is it. That is everything that I have as of right now, with the exception of the laser discs that I've picked up, which, I could go over those really quickly, but there's not too much there other than the Ys laser discs. At some point I hope to get the Dragon Slayer OVA laser discs, but those are significantly harder to find. But yeah, I hope it's been interesting to kind of walk through this, and you got some idea of some of the other things that are out there that maybe you didn't know about, or some things that maybe you'd like to look into if you're interested in Falcom and just getting to know Falcom and know what they put out into the world. And there's a lot of neat stuff. There's a lot of interesting stuff and interesting history to this company that's been around for a very long time now. So yeah, I hope you had a good time, and I will talk to you later. Peace.